Make sure when you are repairing a pattern, you tape both sides. You want to make sure everything is secure and you're not going to pick it up and half the work is hanging off. So I have added paper. I know that I don't need all of this excess, so I'm just going to cut it out of the way. Remember, we're trying to make these the same. We've already shortened this. So basically from this notch down to the bottom of this pattern, if I just walk this, I can transfer this information to my front. That's what I need to add to the front. So I'm going to be lengthening the front. And again, I'm not going to lengthen it all the way across because I don't want to elongate my center front. I just want to lengthen the side that sews to this seam. The center front and center back don't sew together. Okay? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold out the dart by finding the center, marking the dart end, drawing in the darts. Remember that the dart always ends a ½ inch past the punch hole. Never draw your dart legs to the punch hole. And again, this center is going to fold toward the center front, which is here. CF is center front. So I'm going to fold the legs. I'm creasing it. Dart leg here. And then I'm going to bring this over. My fingers here. Dart leg on top of dart leg. Your pattern is not going to lay flat. It's not going to lay flat because this is where the bust would go. This is the reason why we have the dart. We have the dart for contouring. So if you're doing something and you make this lay flat, then it's incorrect. So make sure you have kind of a bowl right here. So I'm going to be adding here and I'm going to be again blending somewhere toward the center. So figure out which tool works the best, which is closest to the shape that you have. And blend. So I'm going to be cutting on this line. And continuing here, just making that line up and my center front. Now, when I walk these two side seams, they should end up being the same length, and they are. Okay? You want to make sure that they're the same length. Whenever you're sewing something and the seams don't match, you want to go back and fix your pattern. The worst thing that could happen is if you forget to fix your pattern and you sew 5 or 10 or maybe 100,000, I don't know if it's production, go through and there's an error, then you've made that error 100,000 times, which you don't want. Even if you're just doing one garment and maybe you have some very expensive fabric, you want to make sure that your pattern walks before you cut on that fabric. So by just doing this equalizing, I now have a side seam that matches, and that's what we want. Every seam that sews together has to walk, and that's how you equalize a seam.